So today we're going to make a Irish lamb stew. So traditionally Irish lamb stew is made with lamb meat. If you choose that you want to use beef, stewing beef instead, that's not a problem. Feel free to sub that out. We're going to go through the ingredients. We'll talk about the cooking method. Again, like the vegetable stew, I like to finish this in the oven. It just braises in nicer. You get a nicer flavor than finishing it on top of the stove. So let's get going on that. And that'll be a lovely, hearty, nice lamb stew that we can serve with our soda bread. So why don't we get started? So we're gonna make our lamb stew. Obviously we're gonna start with some lamb. And we're gonna season that lamb with pepper and salt and flour, and then we're going to saute that in some oil until it's nicely seared. So after we've done that, we're going to add in some butter. So first the butter, then our onions. We're going to add in carrots and celery, followed with parsnips. Then we're going to use some chicken stock to deglaze and cover the stock or the vegetables. And we're going to then put that in the oven and cook. We're going to add in a bouquet garni. And after 45 minutes, we're gonna add in our potatoes. And then once our lamb is done, we will finish it with parsley and some chive. So to start, we're going to have a spoon that we're gonna use to season the lamb. So we have our lamb that we're going to break up a bit here. We're going to season that with some salt. Keep in mind this is for the entire stew, so you can be fairly generous, and some pepper. And then we're going to add some flour. We're going to mix that about. And now we're going to go to the pot. All right, so we're going to sear our lamb in some vegetable oil that we've preheated in the pan. We want to make sure that we get a nice sear on the lamb. So don't drop all your lamb in at once. I would maybe say do like a quarter at a time or a third at a time. You'll see some caramelization. You'll see some of the flour sticking to the bottom of the pan. That's okay. Those are all good flavors that are going to help our stew cook out. So here you can see I'm adding more lamb back in. Again, a little bit at a time, making sure we don't cool down that pan. If we cool down the pan, the lamb will end up just boiling and it won't seal up. Once we get to the point of the lamb all being seared off, and we get a nice caramelization to the bottom of the pan, we're going to add in some butter. And then we're going to move that around. That's going to loosen up some of those burnt on flour. And we're also going to help us, it's also going to help us with sauteing our veg. So we're going to add in our veg now, starting with the onions. And then we're going to follow with celery and then the carrots. And of course parsnip. If you're not a parsnip fan, you can forego the parsnip. We're going to move that around, get everything nice and loose off the bottom of the pan. We're going to deglaze the pan with some chicken stock, and then we're going to top it with a bouquet garni. Bouquet garni is the rosemary and the thyme and the parsley tied together and the bay leaf. I'm going to cover this with parchment paper to place in the oven. And don't forget that we have to put our potatoes back in 45 minutes later to finish cooking to the end of the stew. So here we have our meat stew. We're gonna add our chive. What we're also going to do though is just pull that bouquet garni out of here. And we're going to add our parsley. We're just going to gently move that to incorporate that. Oh, that looks lovely. And there should be a liquid. So there's, you know, a nice potato in there. Some lamb. We have beautiful lamb stew there. So you can serve your lamb stew with the side of soda bread and enjoy.